When you have Neptune, Neptune is dreams, illusions, fantasies, occult, mystic, and of course the behind the scenes. Because of course it's a feminine planet, and of course Pisces, they love the light, but they don't like to be too out there, which means they very sensitive. They pick up a whole lot of emotion and a whole lot of perspectives. And when you have this in the other side of the planet of the Neptune in Virgo, these individuals can basically have an illusion when it comes to dreams of looking at realities, blending too much of making a dream become a work ethic, and of course putting too much exaltation and heavy emphasis when it comes to making things perfect, making sure things are right or uprighteous, and of course it's put you in a situation of having a self-sacrifice, which means you could be illusion and delude towards thinking that these things that you need to basically do or withstand is the right thing to do, but 10 times out of 10, just because society told you that it's right don't mean it's right. It can be wrong. Feel me? So you really have to be very careful if you have a Neptune in Virgo. 10 times out of 10, these be our grandparents and shit like that. Feel me? Or 10 times out of 10, you might put yourself into a position and going joining in the army or some shit, going out there to bear arms and shit. Whole time the enemy stood home type shit, thinking that you had to basically join the line and basically put yourself out there and be a service to the fucking world. No, you don't have to do that shit. Feel me? You need to sit your ass down and focus on what you came here to do, finding your purpose, not getting lost into basically being a fucking Shrek sheep and putting yourself into a position of allowing this shit to basically fuck with your mind. Because also, if you have a Neptune in Virgo, you can be very indecisive about what you're trying to do. Because of course, too much mutableness can have you wanting to do many things. And of course, if you don't have a Taurus in your life, or if you don't have a Taurus or a Scorpio to basically help balance you out in certain areas, then they can pretty much heather you and weigh and toe on you, especially if you ain't got a lot of fixed positions in your charts. Feel me? We all have these positions, we all have these anglings, but depending on how these things play out, also depending on when you have your Neptune and Virgo at too in the house. This can play a huge emphasis on how these things can play out, how you can obtain these things unconsciously and subconsciously. You feel me? And to where you can basically bring these things and accumulate it into a conscious perspective. So having the Neptune and Virgo, these individuals, they go very hard and extreme towards what they do. And of course, they make anything that they do a dream, a goal, or a routine. And of course, they do whatever it takes to basically hone in on these things. Because also, Mercury is going to fall here, and Neptune is going to fall here. So it's going to pretty much be where, if you got a whole lot of shit falling down, you're going to have a whole lot of work, a whole lot of time to basically do things now. You got the ceiling, your ceiling start fucking falling down. You got a whole lot of work now. You got to put the pieces together.